Yeah, I was actually in Baringo. And I'd gone to Baringo very early in the morning. I left my house at 5 in the morning to make sure I'm in Baringo and get back. And I was to come back early a little so that I attend a funeral of a friend. But then along the way, I called them and I told them, please let someone handle that because I must be at this function tonight. And so when I came in by 5:30, I was actually parked outside. And I tried calling her, and she wasn't picking her phone. So I said, I'm going to send a text, and I said, I have gone home because I'm so exhausted and tired because I've had long, long hours of driving. But when we talk about seeds of endless possibilities, I'm reminded of the story in the Bible, and I'm sure most of us have heard it many times. Pastors have preached about it from Matthew chapter 25 of the man who was very loaded, very rich, called his servants and gave them different gifts and talents or seeds. Now, one was given 5, one was given 2, another one was given 1. Now, the Bible tells us a good story that the one who was given 5 went immediately. It doesn't say that it took time. It said immediately went out and started working with what he had. And when the owner came back, he had doubled them. The one with 2 also went and immediately started working. Now, the smart guy decided not to. The guy was very smart, by the way, and he has good reasons why. He actually said, I know you harvest where you didn't have, you harvest where you didn't sow, and you are a tough guy, and gave him good reasons why he was going to do nothing about his seed or his talent. Then what did he do? He said, I became smarter. I dug it on the ground, and I hid it, kept it safe, secure from landmines and everything, and thugs and thieves, and here it is, please take it. And the master, the Bible tells us, looked at the guy and say, foolish man. In fact, that's one of the few times the Bible actually referred to people as foolish and useless, and take what he has, the little he has was taken away from him, and he was thrown out. Now, that tells us a few things about talents and about seeds. And I think it was just nice, and I just want to mention maybe 4 or 5 things that I think are crucial for us as we think about endless or limitless. Kenyans are familiar with the word humans are unlimited because of our sporting activity. Now, the first thing I always tell people, I learned this a few days ago, that trees, and I wish I had an opportunity, but we saw some of the trees in the clip, that the roots under the soil of a tree looks exactly like the branches and the leaves. That means if it's a tree that the leaves are like this, it actually downs the other way, it also goes the same. But if you see the ones that actually spread across, like baobab, actually the roots are also the same. They actually spread across, which tells us something, that what you actually see has a potential of what we don't see. But 90% of what we don't see is actually what makes the tree what it is. The second thing I thought is important for us to look at when we think about a tree or a seed that has germinated is that what makes it what it becomes is what we don't know. And that is the endless, the possibilities, the potential, the things that actually shape it. And I'm sure each and every one of you who is here, if we were to ask you what made you, we will never say it. But when you begin, someone will tell you, oh, I lost my mom. Like myself, I lost my mom when I was 12. I'm the last born, so we were very good friends. And then what did I do? I discovered I could be me. And I became an independent guy. In fact, I remember when I got married, I told my wife, you know, I'm so used to being independent, I feel you almost enter my space. So I had to learn to adjust to have someone in my space. But that taught me to be the kind of person I am. And for me, I think that is crucial. So I want just to bring us in to ask ourselves the first thing. From that story of the man who gave out his talents, point number 1 for me is that we are given gifts or talents or seeds according to our ability. The problem is you are not told your ability. You are not told your possibilities. You're not told your potential, but you're given. Like I am sure my sister who just sang here, when she was born, nobody told her, you are going to be a great singer. Try it out. And I'm sure the first time she stood to sing, maybe her feet had a nice fellowship somewhere here. And maybe sang off key. But today, she just needs to close her eyes and just let it all go in. And some of you like, I wish I could sing like her. And the best you've ever seen, or when you're cooking. And that is fine. But you have a potential. It's just that nobody tells you what you can do. Yet within you, it is unlimited. Yet within you, the potential is great. The problem is, because nobody tells you what that potential is, you actually reach a point where you are saying, can I be good enough? Can I try it? So it leads to the next question. Does the world you need to keep trying and trying until you are the last to try? Tell your neighbor that. Keep trying until you are the last to keep trying. You'll be surprised at what your trial will do. Because, friends, the world doesn't give you the environment for that growth. The world does not give you the environment that is conducive for your potential. So what do you do? And I think I like that because it will come out in this book beautifully, that those possibilities need to be nurtured. Someone needs to tell you, you made a mistake, but keep trying. Now, I like telling people that I'm a student of many failures. I don't know, some of you guys are very smart. You went to school and you are top of your class. Well, when I talk to my daughters, I am a father of daughters, I tell them I was a very smart guy. Until my best friend in school comes in, then they say, he wasn't always number one. Well, then we have a conversation after that. But I was a very smart guy. But because none of my daughters are here, I wasn't always a very smart guy. And I'm a student of, but every time I failed, it gave me an opportunity to ask, what could I have done differently to succeed? In other words, do I know my potential? And if I do, can I try it? So the first time I failed was Form 4. I was in the old system, not the 844. And when I failed the first one, everybody laughed and said, you are so useless. My dad told me, you are so useless, you'll never amount to anything. And my brother who was paying my school fees told me, you are so useless, you'll never sit in front of a professor. And all those things came in. And then, of course, I worked. I joined Utali. So my Utali guys who are here, that's how I got into Utali, because now I was told, maybe, just maybe, that could be the direction you'd go. And I prayed and I told God, when I finished my first, I wanted to be a manager in 3 years. I was a manager in 3 days. The guy who came to recruit me told me, by the way, we are looking for a manager. Are you ready? He said, no, I'm not ready. I still want to be a supervisor first. Then I qualified. I said, no. That guy remains. In God, we trust. A guy who failed many times. But that wasn't the end of the story. Next point for me is, can we open doors for this potential? What do I mean by opening doors for potential? If we left the seeds, whether they're hybrid seeds or the seeds that them in our shelves, in our houses, they will never grow. The agriculture department of this country teaches us that they are hybrid seeds. And they are always in the shelves, in the shops. They will never go. And I'm sure some of you have bought seeds, whether it is for flowers like these ones or any. As long as they are in the packet and on the shelf, they will never become what they were supposed to be. Unfortunately, a lot of people have become flowers. Like these flowers, unfortunately, they do not have roots. They sit right nicely here, and when they are done, they will be thrown out. But those who know the beauty of flowers, they will go and look for them on the plants. Because someone tore the box and tore the sachet and the packet and said, let's open the door for them. And what are some of these doors? The opportunity. When my sister was talking, I kept on fearing that she might mention some of my points. This is what Miles Monroe said, that one of the greatest places, the richest place on planet Earth is a cemetery. Because there is where we have guys who had dreams about books, guys who wanted to be presidents of this country and never made it, who wanted to be MPs and never stood for elections, guys who wrote excellent books but it remained in their heads, guys who had beautiful music but it all remained in the bathroom. When they came out, they couldn't remember. What happened? They died with them and they were buried in the graves. In other words, they never opened the door for the possibilities and the potential to happen. And you know what, friends? I want to challenge you, and I'm sure this book will challenge you to open that door and get the seeds out. And when they go out, they will face challenges, and those challenges will shape them to be exactly what they are supposed to be. The ground is waiting. Unfortunately, the ground can be hostile. Like I said, the world is not going to give you an open plate and say, succeed. No. The ground is waiting. Some of the people who will stop you are your relatives. No, you can't. Your brother never did it. Your uncle never did it. In fact, your great-grandfather tried and failed. So where are you going with that? It won't work. It has never. Nobody in your family has ever one or two or three. Your own parents might laugh at you, your own brothers. But then in the midst of that, there's always this friend who believes in you. Crazy guy. Yeah, wait, see, just go. What will happen? If you fail, you fail. Others will have failed. If you succeed, see, this is our end. The question is, are we willing to break that ground, open that door, and let the seed experience its endless possibility and potential? Do you know what makes the difference between when that seed lands on the ground? Are these two words. You can either bury that seed or plant it. You know that there's no difference between burying and planting. It's the same thing. You dug the ground and dropped the seeds and covered it. When you die, we will dig the ground, we will drop you in, and we will cover it. And if you come from where I do, if you'd been making a lot of money, we will eat it. And when we finish, we come back to Nairobi and say, that was a nice funeral. But as we don't bury people, we give them a dignified send-off. The difference between burying and planting is one word: hope. When the person goes, we know, and we are not hoping they'll come back. In fact, we make sure you don't come back. Do you know what we do? We cement it. Go, don't come back. But when we plant, we keep hoping and trusting. The potential is great. As a farmer, you keep hoping the rains will come to create the environment that will be right. When the water drops in, it begins to germinate. And I remember from that comment that one of the things the seed must struggle with is to crack the crust that makes the seed what it is. Beans is not a bean until you crack that shell. When it cracks, it begins to grow. Friends, we must be willing to do the planting, not the burying. The potential of a seed comes not from the seed sitting on the shelf in a nice sachet, but it's taking the risk of dropping it on the ground, covering it, and planting hope. And that's why the Bible calls us, we are prisoners of hope. Prisoners of potential. Prisoners of knowing it's going to be better tomorrow. And finally, the joy of seeding is knowing that its potential is unlimited. Its possibilities cannot be stopped. You see, when you plant a seed, you don't know how many times you'd be able to enjoy the fruits from it. There are those who even know the kinds of plants that are said they're aggressive. It lands in, and before you know it, it grows and keeps on growing. You have to cut it, to trim it, to make sure, because it knows as long as you give me the opportunity, I'll keep growing. The joy of seeding is the potential, the possibility is unlimited, and all we need to do is give it a try. You know what? That is the miracle of unlimited potential. The unlimited possibilities, the endless possibilities, the joy of knowing this seed will give me something back. I would hate to be a farmer who plants and has no hope that anything good will come out of it. No. I'd hate, like my teacher friend, I would hate to be a teacher who knows these students are useless. Nothing good will come out of them. And every day you come to class and you teach. No. They hope that one of those useless ones will turn out to be better than you and become important in your life and tell the story. I don't know how many of us here ever met someone you mentored. I have had that privilege of meeting some of the people I've mentored over the years. I've been a pastor for over 25 years. And I meet some of them. Some I baptized. Some I counseled them when they were I taught them in Sunday school, walked with them when they met their first boyfriend or girlfriend, and they come in and say, Pasi, I am getting married, and I've officiated their weddings. And a year down the line, Pasi, this is my child, can you baptize? And they say, he baptized me, and he did our wedding. And you're looking at them, and it's like, who is growing old, me or them? Because they seem to be increasing, and me, I'm still the same guy doing the same job over and over. I look at that and I realize, what you planted in that particular person is a seed, and that seed is unlimited. Finally, friends, this book, I believe, will challenge each and every one of us to ask, what is it that you're doing with your own gifting? I don't know whether you've ever counted your gifts. I have had the privilege of counting. I know I have 5. And of my 5, I've been very active with 4. There's one that I've been struggling with. Lucy, I have written 5 books. The good thing about those 5 books, they are on my laptop. They are on my laptop, my friend. Every time I go in, I say, this year I must publish. This one, in fact, I say, watch out on this one. In fact, this is the next. This one should go in fast. And even I can even imagine the launching. And then I can call all my friends. If I call all my friends, trust you me, they are serious guys who will come in for the launch. They say, no, this one is more dramatic. If I launch this one, they'll have more people. In fact, why don't I just do all the 4 of them so that when I launch, guys know I'm a serious guy. Then 1 year passes, and the next year passes, and the 3rd year passes, and the 4th year passes, and I realize there is a seed I am not opening the door for and allowing the shell to break. So I promised myself, because I want to do my PhD and graduate this year. Before I graduate, at least, Lucy, I will call you for my launch. I must open that door. What is the seed in you that you are not allowing to germinate? Because it is not germinating for you. And like she said, and Miles Monroe says, trees don't blossom and show flowers for themselves. They were created to benefit others. The beautiful story in your head is not helping you. It's going to help us. We need to read it. The beautiful song that you can sing. It's nice when you sing in the bathroom, but we need to hear it playing in the radio. The beautiful creative art that you can draw is useless when it remains in your head. We would want to hear there's another Picasso in Kenya. The beautiful talent God has given you, that seed He's given you, was created to be a blessing to the neighbor, to the friend, to the nation, and to the world. I don't think when Picasso was doing his art, he was saying, I am creating a globally acclaimed piece of work. No. All he was just doing is using his gift to do it. It is the world that came and said, this is a masterpiece. Can we create masterpiece creators in our midst? And when you do, we will be able to look and say, behold a great woman, behold a great man. You don't walk and say, I'm a great guy. Like politicians say, I am mheshimiwa. No, you don't tell people you are respected. No, let people call you mheshimiwa. So we are waiting to call you mheshimiwa. We are waiting to call you a great woman, a great man. May the Lord bless you as you ask, what is the seed in me that the potential is unlimited? What is the gift that I have that I can go out and explore and transform the world into? What seed am I leaving behind? Because the truth is, we are leaving one of these fine days, and we would love to have your footprints in the map of this world. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John Mark. Appreciate him as he has planted that seed in us. And that's asking, what seed have you planted? And the author has done something to John Mark, because John Mark must be a publisher and an author very soon, because a seed has been planted. Thank you so much. No, when I was calling John Mark, we always say in Kenya, the second name betrays you. You can't tell where he comes from. Until he said, they don't bury, they give a dignified send-off. These are the guys, even when they are drunk, they don't stagger, they walk in italics. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we want to come to the most important part of this show, and this is the unveiling, the launching of the book. We're going to do it differently, because there are many people who have worked with Lucy, the author, and so I'm going to ask just a few of them to represent this, all of us, and I'll be calling the small committee that was planning and organizing, Lucy, Kuria, Sheila, Jen. Please, I want you to bring the author, Lucy Mutie, on stage. She can't walk alone. Friends, please, let's cheer them as they come on stage, because we're going to do this together, all of us together. The stairs, we can use the stairs on this side. Please, ladies, thank you so much for walking with her. Let's just appreciate them as they walk together, because this is a journey that she took. And let me tell you, when you're writing a book, at times you're exposing yourself to the world. Read my life, that is what they're saying. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to do this together. And I'll tell you, just come here. We shall tell you how to do it. All right. Just stand there. You know, as he gets something for me. These three ladies have actually walked the journey together with Lucy as she writes the book. And we're going to hear just a snapshot of that in a few. And this, we shall do it like this. When she cuts the ribbon and unveils the book, I'll ask all of us to stand and cheer. And she will get a copy of that book and hold it for us. Is that okay? Don't check out this part. You know, in social media, when you see things in social media, they are practiced. Is that okay? So they are practiced. We practice. Even entering stage, we practice. And that's a good thing. You know, there is, oh, you're practicing to stand. No, we shall stand. Okay, we shall stand when that time comes. I'm just waiting for just one more thing, and then we are done. And I like what Percy was saying, that let this be a transformational day for you. That there is this thing that you wanted to do. Today is the day that you decide you're going to do. Does that make sense? And for some of us, I think I'm currently a principal. Oh, we were not supposed to say. There's a time I was a deputy principal. And let me tell you, you've been in a public school or any school, the work of a DP is the worst, isn't it? And you've seen some of them resigning, others are fired. Wait, sorry. Especially when I dress like this, I should not be talking like that. Now, we are waiting for you behind there, so that we just do that together. So saying, part of my work was to do anything boring for the principal. And one of them was writing speeches, and I was good in that. And I was writing speeches for, thank you for coming very quickly. Thank you. So, we are going to join together to count backwards. 5 to 1, then she will cut the ribbon. Is that okay? We are all going to do together. So I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She cuts the ribbon, and you're going to have, you know that pomp and color? And you're part of the pomp and color. You're going to see this, you will edit. You're going to see this video, and you won't believe that you're part of the audience. Is that okay? All right, let me hide behind there so that I'm not taken by the video. All right, are we ready, guys? Are we ready? All right, we start counting, and don't count fast. You go like 5, 4, like that. Is that okay? So once she cuts the ribbon like that, then we all stand and cheer. We're going to make this all look like we are 1,000 of us. Ah, you guys are just the best. She and me, all of you are recording. Now, Sasa, who will cheer? Oh, all right, sound effects. Are we ready? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cheer that And that is Seeds of Endless Possibilities. Lucy Mutie, congratulations. Seeds of Endless Possibilities. The journey has just begun. Let's keep cheering. Seeds of Endless Possibilities. The seed has just been planted. Ladies and gentlemen, Lucy Mutie, the author, Seeds of Endless Possibilities. Wow. Congratulations, Lucy. Congratulations. And may you now pick the book and present it to us. Ladies, assist her to pick the book. As we say in the academia, that is her original work. No AI. Congratulations. Nilisahau kupanga line. Okay, so let me just stay here. And now, Lucy, you can grab the book, raise it up, and present it to us. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and congratulations. Seeds of Endless Possibilities. All right, thank you. You can walk her down back on stage. And now, for those who had the copy beforehand, it is your time now to unveil that copy and see that the copy that you have actually bought and received, it's the same copy that we have unveiled. And there goes the light so that you check. And if it's the same, you can lift it up and say, Seeds of Endless Possibilities. Congratulations, congratulations. I want to invite his company, Art at Work, provides a platform to discover, nurture, and more people can build sustainable livelihoods through their creative skills. His mission aligns perfectly with messages of Seeds of Endless Possibilities. Allow me to welcome Roy Getahi on stage. Let's put our hands for Roy Getahi on as he comes here. Thank you so much, Roy, and thank you so much, Jen. Decide where you're going to sit. Thank you. Hapo, na wewe hapo. Thank you, Roy. I've interacted with Roy for several occasions, and when you were saying you are not smart, I don't want to tell you that he tells us that he got a D for DOA. But just before we get there, I want now to help me introduce and come to stage the real author, Seeds of Endless Possibilities, Lucy Mutie, who began her career in the tourism industry before transitioning into human resources, where she now thrives as a professional working with the United Nations. Her journey is a testament to the very essence of this book, embracing change, discovering new possibilities, and finding fulfillment in different paths. Again, Lucy, welcome. And she's passionate about young people, about thriving, and about talent. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the panel this evening. Thank you. I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call the moderator, and you cheer the moderator when they're coming. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to introduce the moderator. This is William Mwangi. Ladies and gentlemen, cheer! Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You may have your seats. You may have your seats. Please pick a microphone. You have a microphone. Let's say, Jane, that is your microphone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. So we begin the show, and the show, ladies and gentlemen, we want to start with Lucy herself. Lucy, what inspired you? Test the microphone and just say hello to the audience.
Oh, I didn't put it on.
All right, that works. Lucy, what inspired you, that seed that was planted in you, what inspired you to start writing and coming up with this title, Seeds of Endless Possibilities?
Okay, thank you, and good evening all, and welcome. Thank you for coming. Now, writing Seeds of Endless Possibility was not my starting point. I knew I needed to write, and I started writing. I knew I was going to write about a tree, the tree of my life. And I started writing. I knew all the chapters. Then when I got to start writing chapter 1, I realized it starts with the seed. Yes, my story, I wanted to write about a tree, but I needed to focus on the tree. That's the seed. That's the starting point. When I wrote about the seed, I realized I could not continue. The book was already big. I didn't want to be a voluminous book. You will notice it's a small book because it's supposed to be reflective, actionable book. So I stuck to the seeds. So when I looked at my chapters, then I was like, okay, what about seeds? Seeds of endless possibilities. Because when you look around, there are so many seeds. Maize seeds, bean seeds, oak tree, mustard. There's so many seeds. Then I was like, okay, each seed has its purpose. I actually, looking at the seeds was very intriguing, very insightful, and honestly, there's a lot about seeds. The book does not contain all, but just an introduction. That if you understood seeds, then you would change how you live your life. Now remember, we are taught, especially in the world, that you need a purpose, you need a vision, but what guides the purpose, what guides vision? I realized, no, the seed comes potent. When you look at a small child, they come with arms and legs, everything, eyes, everything is developed. It just needs now time to develop, to mature and develop. But you don't add anything to it. And so is every seed. Every seed comes with potency. And I think the first chapter is about potency, seed potency. So don't go looking outside. The seed is fully potent. In your DNA are your instructions for growth. So don't go look. We look for the environment. Environment has its place, but winning begins from the seed. So have you discovered the seed world? So that's what inspired me to write the book.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Seeds of Endless
And you're talking about
Possibilities.
seeds of various trees. Are all those seeds sharing something in common? Because we've talked about, there's a mustard seed feeling inferior from a mango seed, or from, or another seed that looks maybe not that good as a mango. Yes.
A good question. And I use metaphors. When I speak a lot, I use metaphors because metaphors help you move from the known to be more reflective. When you ask about are the seeds the same, actually seeds are not the same and they don't compete. But human beings, we compete a lot. Why do we compete? Why do I look at what's happening and compete? We don't need to compete. We just need to know yourself. Who are you? So it starts with self-discovery. So understand the seed. Don't look at another seed. And that's the problem with human beings. Human beings, we're very complex. We're very complex. Seeds don't have a choice. We make choices. Seeds don't have choices. That's why you plant maize. It will not argue that why did you make me maize? It will just give you maize. And seeds, you start one, they can multiply. There are common things about seeds. You plant one grain of maize.
It multiplies.
It multiplies.
And that's where I'm coming to Roy. Roy, you deal so much with young people in talents, creative, like culture. And actually, when you came here, I didn't see you sitting down. You were just interacting with people. How does that concept of a seed among young people come up as we talk about seeds of endless possibilities?
Good question. I like the sermon that has been given in reference to the word, because that is where we all seem to start from. And the thing is, there's the story of the mustard seed, there's the story of the sower and that kind of thing. And one of the things that I was looking at the book and seeing as I browsed through was there are two things that I find. One seed gives gives fruit. That fruit has other seeds that can go forth. Look at the book of Exodus 35, and you will see that there are two guys who are called, one guy was called Oliab, and a guy was called Bezalel. And the thing is, God gave them two talents. One, he poured out his spirit so that they can become talented and skilled in working with what it is that they were being given. That's number one. The second thing was the ability to teach others. And we always forget that part, the ability to teach others. So that seed that was planted in you, and now you have the ability to give somebody that seed so that it can continue multiplying and growing. For the young people, it's a journey. And it has been quite interesting watching how those journeys begin, because we are the people who are the soil as parents. The first investors in your career path are your parents. When you say you have qualified to do law, engineering, finance, medicine, something. Your parents are willing to sell a cow, a piece of land, mortgage the house, nakadhalika. What do you think they will sell when you say DJ? Nothing. Even a tray of eggs will not go. All right? So the thing is, we now become hostile to them. You find that even when we're introducing our children in church, we say, this is my daughter, she's a lawyer. That is my other daughter, she's an engineer. Wacha turuke yule. And we go to the last
We go
one,
to the
who's
next
a business
question.
person. Which is basically, why do we skip that person? It's because they do not conform to a norm that we have already established in our minds. But the thing is, when all these children are there, one thing I've come to discover, your children are not going to be like you. They're not going to be what you want them to become. The thing is, God has entrusted you with that child so that you can nurture them.
And that's
to
a
become
seed
what
that we are planting,
Exactly.
that it can just come and mature
And
in
we
a
are the
direction
soil.
you may not know.
Yes, and we are the soil as
Yes.
the parents who will either nourish that seed or kill that particular seed.
And I think for parents, it's just to believe that you've planted a seed and it will grow. I know the notion one time we discussed with you and they say, a parent telling a child, there's no way I'm going to sell a cow to take another cow to school.
Exactly.
That was not mine, it was him. Let's get to the publisher. Many times, and I remember the story of Dr. Seuss trying to publish books, and no publisher wanted his books. What made you believe in Lucy's work, that you actually took it and took that risk, as it were, and took it up for publishing?
Wow, quite an interesting question. I believe in people's vision. It may not be, I may not see the end at the beginning, but I look at the seed. So when Lucy came to me, Lucy and also among other people that I've worked with to publish books for, apparently I work mostly with budding authors. Those have been my type of clients, because when I started writing, I was a student in university. I was a fourth-year student when I wrote my first book. That's more than a decade ago. And I didn't know, I was just responding to some inner voice that was just pushing me to write something, to write a book. And I didn't know how far that would go. But as I speak to others, I tell them, you will never measure the impact of a book. It will cross the borders. It will go to countries where you may never get a visa to visit. It will have an impact in lives that you may never know. And so when she came to me, there's something I told her that I had before then received a call from someone in the US, an Ethiopian, and I was just in the streets of Nairobi at night. So when I saw the call, I was like, I'll return it later. So when I returned the call, the gentleman on the other side of on the call says, I have read your book 5 times over. And he said, every time I read your book, something comes alive in my spirit. And he said, I was at the verge of giving up. So I've decided to give you this call because I'm on page 85 of your book. And I'm just trying to think what was happening in your life when you wrote this. And I can't remember what's on which page of my book. But just receiving a call from someone I don't even know, I haven't interacted with, gave me so much hope. And the fact that it's given them a reason to live, a reason to hope again, I keep thinking that's what books do. You're literally seated. Lucy, you may not pay a visit to all the people seated here, but you'll literally be with them in their houses, in their cars, speaking to them on traffic as they fly across the countries.
I can already see the book is taking effect on you. And that's very good, ladies and gentlemen, that she's living the book already. And that connection is what I just want to ask Lucy, the author. When you're writing this book and now the book is out there, and when I watched the documentary, I saw Thrive. Just try connect the seed and thriving, as it were. Just the seed and thriving. Yes.
Okay. So there's a seed, and I said the seed is in you. Everybody has a seed. Do you know your seeds? Because once you know your seed, which is fully potent, that's where the potential comes in. And if you go look to the book, it actually talks about potency and planting, and the seed must break. So if it doesn't break, then it doesn't come out. So this seed in me is actually thrive. That's what I see. That's my vision, thrive. And as you will see in the banner and also in the video, thrive for me is T for transforming, H for hardworking, R for relating, I for inspired, V for vibrant, and E for engaged. We are on planet Earth. We came in, we don't know when we exit. What is your life about? We're hustling. I don't like that word, hustler. We should be thriving, not hustling. So are you thriving? So the seed in me is for me, and maybe what made me, again, maybe to inspire. In my workplace, I happened to go to, I was in Italy, where John Mark and Benson and Sheila were. How I transitioned to human resources, it was not by choice. My director said, you're very good with people. And that's how I moved to HR. With no training, nothing whatsoever. And in that interaction I speak to people and I see they bubble up. They thrive. And they even say, they give me feedback. Oh, the way you talk, you're so inspirational, you're so motivational. I work, yes, in HR, but I don't pass papers. It's about people. So for me, the seed in me is to thrive. And that's when I speak to people, it's like, I want to see what's the positive. Yes, there's so many challenges, but let's thrive. How can we make it well? And that's also why I wrote the book. The seed doesn't it's a process. From seed to maturity to fruitfulness is a process. It's difficult. But there's so many lessons we can learn from the life of a tree that we can apply to our own lives, to our own projects, and then we thrive. So the seed is to
And
thrive.
I like that illustration because you talk about thriving. And I had a conversation with you sometime, and you said you don't like the word hustling because it actually doesn't bring in the thriveness in it. And I'm not disappointing you by dressing like this because that's a hustle nation. But again, when we look at us as a country, Roy, and we're in the business of making sure that people are not thriving, especially young people. And that's where at times the movement comes in and they want to thrive, but we're still making them. What can we do as parents, as leaders, just to ensure that these young people are thriving from your experience?
Okay, I'm in the creative sector, and one of the things that we have not done is made investment in that particular sector. Those parents who are introducing their children, lawyer, engineer, jump that one, are the same people who are making decisions in government, they're the same people who are making decisions in corporates. So if they have that attitude at church, it's the same attitude that they have in the places that can actually serve as thriving grounds for these young people. What we've done as a company is to build an ecosystem for them to be able to thrive. How do you discover these guys? How do you nurture them? How do you grow them so that they can actually then create sustainable jobs, all right, or livelihoods from what it is that they have in terms of skill and talent. This is something they did not pray for. It's not something that they paid for. It was just something that God gave by grace. So how do we then take this talent and nurture that so that these guys can then be able to thrive? And it's a process. So one of the things is there's a whole mindset that needs to change, because when you tell people, what do you do? I'm a dancer. You won't accept that answer. You usually ask, what else do you do? You know, if you think about when guys go to a bank, all right? Because this is one of the things that we're actually dealing with. A guy walks into a bank, by the way, sagging jeans, a vest that you can see through, glasses and bling. Then he sits at your desk and goes like, yo, hit me up with $500,000, Bob. Seriously, as a banker, would you give that money? All right? It is actually, that is risk personified. It is because the way they perceive you, the way they see you, that needs to change first before they can engage with you and then discover that there's something actually that you have that people want. We call the creative sector an export product, because the thing is, as the publisher said, that book will be written here. But the thing is, people will identify with it outside this particular country, all right? And because when you talk about creativity and even publishing and writing, these are matters of the heart. And everybody else everywhere has a heart. And the situation that they're going through, you can identify in a song. Why is it that we cry when you listen to some music from some European guy or some American guy and you're crying. Why? Because you identify with it. They have no idea what you do, how you live, what your situation is, but you identify with what it is that they are
And
saying.
so in essence, you're saying that the planting of the seed takes time. It's a process.
It's one that needs to be it needs to be intentional. You see, that's the other thing that we're now talking about: intentional parenting, intentional business. We have to be intentional and say, we identify these particular talents. How do we discover them? How do we nurture them? How do we grow them so that these people may be able to thrive?
And I'll come back to you for that, because as a country, we need to be real with young people and just tell them the truth. If we can get a machine producing 1 million chapatis, I mean, just now, the publisher. Now, what makes this book different? Jen, you have published many books. What makes Seeds of Endless Possibilities a different book from other books that you have actually dealt with?
Well, it not only, when it speaks across, it's not focused to one particular audience, it cuts across the different audiences. And it's applicable in any person's situation, because it is a book based on principles. A principle is a principle. The law of gravity applies to everybody, despite, in spite of where you live, what you do, who you are, your level of education. And so this is a book whose ideologies and everything is borrowed from principles of nature. And God, in his wisdom, had his own way of making nature speak to us. Even when we don't know that he's there, you can look at nature and know that there is a higher being. So this is a book based on principles, but it doesn't stop there. Lucy has given it a very personal approach. So it has reflections. After every topic, there are reflections that now speak to your personal life. And what speaks to me may not necessarily speak to my husband. It may not necessarily speak to my children. This is a book I will give to my 9-year-old daughter, and she will find it useful at her space. I mean, in her space, at her age. And I will also find it useful in my space. Whether it's a career space, spiritual space, education, family, it has principles that could apply in every space. So that, to me, stands out.
You're right, because producing the book, you actually see, like you've said, it can apply to all ages and all that, especially when people are thinking about thriving. And I'll come back to the author. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we shall revisit the area and of the seed growing. I'm changing direction now. Parting shot, and everyone is going to take a minute to just give a parting shot to the audience. Parting shot. How do we ensure that the people out there reading that book thrive? Again, the word thrive. We started with the seed growing into a tree. How does the reader relate to you as an author to move from a seed to a big tree?
Thank you, William. Good question. How do you move from a seed to a big tree? I'll tell you, it's a process. So, Seeds of Endless Possibilities is the first book. Follow us on website. There'll be more content. And we use there'll be lots more, you have the QR code for the website, so that we help people move from the seeds, but we need to identify the seeds before you start growing. And then what Roy said, there's a need of change of mindset. Life has harsh realities, so that when you get a safe space, you don't want to move. And anybody trying to rock that space, you fight. And that's why change is hard, because you found some safe space. Then you miss out on the endless possibilities. You need courage. That's where the inspiration comes in, to be able to launch out. And as you say, parting shot, there is a chapter in that book on dormancy. I love that chapter because it speaks to me. I'll tell you why. Talent Optimized, I got that vision in 2009. Patience was 2 years old. When are you seeing the first reality? 2025. Patience is 18. Dormancy is real. So this is not new. It's even registered in the government of Kenya. Seeds of endless, not seeds, talent optimized. 16 years dormancy. What is dormant in your life? Get it up and thrive.
Wow. Let's appreciate her for that. And Lucy, I'll tell you something. When your daughter brought the book to me, I asked her, have you read the book? And she told me, I have lived the book. This is not just a book on pen and paper. It is your life. And thank you so much. Roy, just coming and to think about young people. You know the presenter who does that? Tell us, young people. Young people and thriving. Again, when we look at talents, you are in culture, you in sports and all these things. I want you to address young people. 2 things they need to do to thrive. 2 things as your parting shot.
1, buy the book.
I like that.
And I keep saying this. When you do not know where you're going, everywhere is correct. Every direction is correct if you don't know where you're going. But when people have taken the effort to research and put in a book, all right, then you should actually take a peek at this particular book and ask yourself, what has been prescribed for me by people who are obviously in positions of more knowledge than you are. And so I've skimmed through this, and it has got very easy language, by the way. You know, I keep telling people when I greet them, I know the guys who read King James Version and the guys who read Good News Bible, all right? The guys of Good News Bible want pictures, okay? And they always say that if you want to hide something from an African, keep it in a book, all right? But look at this. It is simple, easy to read, and it will help you identify what seeds do you have in you. What talents do you have in you? And it will walk you through this particular process of identifying that talent. How should that talent be nurtured? And it is actually very good when you have a mentor in the form of a book to tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Thank you so much, Roy. It is actually said you are never alone when you're reading a book. And it's true, it can take you places. Jen, the publisher, we want to write a book. What does it take from lessons that you've learned from publishing this book? And we had Pastor John Mark saying that he would want to write. From the lessons, seeds of endless possibilities, what does it take?
Wow. Action, courage. Step out of your comfort zone and just do it. Stop procrastinating. Don't think too hard about it. Just start. Start where you are, then progress. And yes, we're here to offer you the support that you need. And if you're also considering to become an author, be an avid reader. It will not only develop your mind and give you a mind shift, but it is said and known that great leaders are avid readers.
True.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jen, for that. And it is true that us, as our generation, we need not stop anyone from thriving. Plant that seed, it will grow. I always tell people, I don't know how it feels to have rich parents, but I will ask my children. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this panel. Thank you so much. Appreciate them. Ladies and gentlemen, as I go down, please appreciate them. As I sit down, thank you so much. We should have discussed much more, but in the interest of time, as we always say, we shall end it there. Much more in the book. Find much more in the book, and that will be a good thing for us to do that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost coming to the final end of this, but the end is just a beginning. But I will tell you something, that it is never enough. So you celebrate at least. Yes. But just before that, of course, we shall have a vote of thanks. I'm trying to breathe there. Lucy Korea has been on stage here before, and I will be asking her to come on stage to give a vote of thanks to all of us, and just sacrificing our time to come stand with Lucy as she unveils this book. And as we read this book, this book will be impactful to us, and we shall share the word out there. So can I ask Lucy to come and just share a vote of thanks? Lucy Korea is also one of the persons who has worked with Lucy Mutia. They must have discussed to call each other Lucy as they work together, as they walk together. It is always good. John Mark said, it's always good to have a crazy friend. Do you have a crazy friend who believes in you even when no one believes in you? Thank you. What you're saying?
Good evening, everyone. So this is to Mom.
Wow, this is a special message to Mom from Patience. Come. Oh, okay. Well, she goes by many names. Some call her Lucy, others call her Mutie, but to me, she's Mom. My name is Patience Sarange, and this is my version of the author of the day. I have experienced the book long before it was ever written, as every day is a lesson of how I can accomplish so much with endless possibilities. Mom always taught me to thrive in anything I do, and she would always tell me, and I quote, "You always have to thrive in all you do, as there is no past tense of thrive. You can never thrive one day and fail to thrive the next." Wow. Talent optimized is nothing new to me, but a foundation that will guide me into finding a talent. The number of opportunities I have been exposed to cannot describe the endless possibilities I have had. To me, it's more than number of words that completed this book, or even the amount of notable lessons written, but more of a lesson that I have had all my life. Seeds of Endless Possibilities describes, to me, the book is a physical copy that guides me when I feel like I'm in between a rock and a hard place. Wow, that was a Patience message to Mommy. Wow. Oh. What a night. What a day. This is really phenomenal. And again, Lucy, congratulations. I can't wait to read the book. Oh, look at them. Yeah. I cannot wait to go through the book. And I know there is a lot that I will learn. My job is very easy, to say thank you. And I say thank you. First, to our Almighty. It is not by chance that we are here, that we are alive. We thank God for this day. We thank God for at least the blessings He keeps pouring onto us. What He has done to even inspire Lucy to write this book. She's thinking of the 16 years. For me, I was like, she's done what? Written a book? Okay. All right. But, to her, it's 16 years, but we thank God it's actually come to fruition. We've just heard from John Mark. He has 5 of them lined up. But I know after today, you'll call us for the launch. And we are looking forward to that. Already that when you're committing it to God. So we thank God for all that is happening and what he has done for us. For even inspiring Lucy to write this book and bring it to fruition up to where it is. Lucy, thank you very much for putting your, that silent voice in you into words and sharing your life, your life lessons with us. Because I know you're going to hold so many of us, you'll hold all of us. And the other thing I really want to thank you for is with this book I've already had, it cuts across the different age groups, the different situations people are in. So meaning this book is for everyone. So thank you very much for bringing that out and making it very easy for us to access. Now, she might have had the idea and everything else, but without people like our publishers here, Harrod Treasures, hear that name, Harrod Treasures, Harrot Treasures. If you need a publisher, Jane Danu is right here. I've interacted with her the last few days, and I was just mesmerized. So thank you very much for working with Lucy and actually making this day a possibility. There are many people behind the scenes. We have, you can see all the young men around, Roy and Tim, asanteni sana. But even after doing all this, Lucy has written the book, it's been published. Roy has picked the entire team. Without each one of you who is here today, would not be, it would not have been an event. So I would like to thank you, our extinguished guests, for at least being here and being with Lucy, supporting her. And this is just the beginning. Today is just the launch, but there's a reading, there's a sharing that she's challenging us to do. So thank you for being here. Thank you for purchasing the book, if you've already done that. Thank you for having the intention and actually doing it afterwards. And please do not forget to share. The message is just share, because we really need to, all of us need to thrive. And it's an acronym. I need to master. I will not even attempt to say what the T, and I know there's transformation, I will not try, but I am going to be a master in a few days, all right? So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I know there's still a lot. Let me take it back to our able MC, William.
Thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you so much. We are almost coming to the tail end. One time in a university, by the way, lecturers were given a treat by their students. And they were told you're going to be flown to the US. And they went to the airport, and 50 lecturers entered the plane. But just before takeoff, announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, professors, this flight has been assembled by your students. Scuffle, 49 of them left. Of course, 49 of them left. Only one professor was staying in the plane. And they went to him and asked, Prof, how come you're the only one left here? You know what he said? If this flight has been assembled by my students, it won't take off. Ladies and gentlemen, those are not the seeds that we are planting. We want to plant seeds that will thrive and seeds that will take off. And now, we want just to do one more thing. John Mark, please come on stage. John Mark is going to pray, lead us into a prayer, and commit this book before God, and that it will thrive as a book, and the message will thrive. And after that, one more announcement is that we shall have a cake cutting outside. I had practiced that, cake cutting. We shall have cutting cake, skia sasa. Tutakata keki hapa nje. Then after that, we have some refreshments. Please don't go. We are all sharing the refreshments. It's celebration. So for now, John Mark, present this book before God and let it be a blessing to the reader. Thank you, John.
I'll ask that we stand. Let us pray. Precious and loving Father, we thank you for your loving kindness. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for the privilege and the joy that comes from knowing that you've gifted us in diverse ways. And we thank you for gifting Lucy with a creative mind, the ability and the discipline to put it down in writing and ultimately present it as paper to a publisher. and this is the product. We thank you that the family experienced the book even before it was written. But more so, dear Lord, we thank you that you gave her the opportunity to think through it until it came to fruition. How we pray that, Lord, that the seeds of endless possibilities will not end with the publishing of a book, but it will continue to grow in her as more books are written and as more ideas are born and as more opportunities come. We thank you for those who came here tonight to stand with her and support her, to have the privilege and the opportunity to read those books. Lord, we pray that this book will be a blessing to us, a blessing to our families, a blessing to our friends, a blessing to the institutions where we work, that when all is said and done, we will look back and thank you for Lucy and the gifting in her life. And so, Lord, we want to commit this book. The Lord made the ideas, the principles, the thoughts, the meditations that went into writing this book. May it explode in the lives of many, that others will look many years down the line and say, of the books we must recommend for someone to read, of the ideas that you must put into practice, of the thoughts that you need to reflect and meditate upon, and of the principles that will guide your life, you will find them in this book written by Lucy. And Lord, we pray that as we continue to encourage one another and share with one another and grow this path, you will also hold our hands and walk with us. For just like a seed, unless it is planted on the ground, it will never germinate. Unless this book is planted in our lives, we know the impact will be limited. But because we believe and know and trust and pray that, Lord, we will learn from it and put into practice, may that germination be real. And so, my brothers and sisters, the Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord scatter the darkness from before your path and give you peace. The blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with you and remain with you and your loved ones now and forevermore. Amen.
We can now proceed to the entrance of the theater, and we shall have a piece of cake shared with us by Lucy and team. Thank you.
Nitoke na seats nipeleke wapi ndugu yangu? Hai. Ngumu. Leader. Lazima speaker.